Hello, everybody. My name is Rob, and I'm a teacher at Simul Academy.
Yeah, my name is Mark, and I also teach at Simul Academy.
And today I'm going to be asking Mark a few questions about the upcoming G7 summit, which is this year to be held in Hiroshima. So, Mark, can you just briefly tell us what is the G7? Who are the members of this group?
Okay, well, as we can see from the image, it's a meeting between the leaders of 7 developed countries. And in order of the flags which are shown, we can see from left to right, Italy, Japan, the UK, Canada, Germany, France, and the US, and these are joined by the EU.
I see. And why these particular countries?
Well, they're considered to have the following values in common, and these values, which are shown below, are generally thought to be freedom, democracy, and human rights.
And so what do they do?
Well, at its best, there is a candid exchange of views on the important challenges that the international community is facing. Okay, and I have to say, these meetings are not always plain sailing. You may remember this photograph from Trump's first G7 meeting. And as we can see, the other leaders are trying to get Trump to sign off on the final communique about what had been agreed. And as you can see, Trump is really digging his heels in and refusing. So
So why then did these gatherings first start, Mark?
Well, let's see, we can go back to the 70s. And in the 70s, some of you may remember, the world was plunged into chaos by, first of all, the Nixon shock, and it's shown by this slide, when he had to resign due to the bugging of the Democratic Party headquarters, known as Watergate. And also, it was the first oil shock in 1973, shown here. So it was felt that a forum was needed to coordinate policy and actions on these major issues. The presidency and location rotates among the 7.
I see. So this then takes us to the upcoming meeting.
Yep.
It's Japan's turn, and Hiroshima has obviously been selected as the location. Is there any significance to this choice?
Well, obviously, it's the site of the devastation caused by the atomic bomb. And of course, there is the well-known memorial, as shown, which is recognized around the world.
So then what will be on the agenda at Hiroshima?
Well, it hasn't been finalized yet, but some of the topics which have been raised are listed below. It will be up to Prime Minister Kishida and his team to decide what is discussed. So fairly obviously, I think the big 4 are the war in Ukraine, climate change, nuclear weapons, particularly salient, of course, because we are in Hiroshima, but also maintaining the international order, which is viewed as being challenged by some countries.
I see. Is it only this G7 countries and the EU leaders who attend?
Not at all. So in the upcoming Hiroshima, the leaders of Australia, India, and Ukraine have been invited. And of course, President Zelensky of Ukraine will join by Zoom rather than come in person.
I see.
Okay. I'd just like to show you the final photograph of a previous meeting. As we can see, there are many invitees. Okay, and I think it's also worth mentioning that throughout the meeting, there will be many meetings on each topic at ministerial level.
I see.
So there'll be subcommittee.
Sure. Right. So then what do you think will be the outcome of this Hiroshima meeting? What can Kishida achieve, do you think?
Well, it's pretty difficult to say. However, I think it's worth mentioning that the current leaders can all be considered moderates, and they really want to reach a consensus on all the serious issues facing us today.
And of course, these current leaders include the people we can see here. So can you just tell us who they are?
Okay, yes, of course. Well, starting with the top left, we have Rishi Sunak, the British Prime Minister. And then if we move on to the middle of the top row, we have Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. And on the right at the top row, we have basically, she's a new girl in town. She's only very recently been elected as Prime Minister of Italy, and Giorgia Meloni. Okay, now bottom left, very recognizable face. We have Emmanuel Macron, President of France. And then next to him, you have Olaf Scholz, who is again relatively new. He's the Chancellor of Germany. And of course, in the bottom right, a very, very, very recognizable face, Joe Biden, US President.
See. Okay, well, let's hope it's a successful summit and they can achieve some positive things. And thank you very much, Mark, for telling us about all that today.
That's fine. I think there are quite high hopes for this. All of the 7 plus the invitees plus the EU are all on the same page and want to progress on the various issues.
Great.
So
great.
I'm hoping for some quite strong final communiques.
Well, let's hope you're right, and we'll meet again following the summit and
absolutely
and discuss some of the issues that were discussed at that event. Okay.
Right. Good. So please join us in a few weeks' time.
And thanks again for listening today.